Well, hello, my friends. My name's Adam Stevens, coach and counselor from St. Louis, Missouri. Thank you so much for tuning into the channel today. If you'd like to, you can hit like and subscribe and share this with people you care about. Today's video is going to be about over-explaining ourselves, oversharing, and saying sorry too much. Okay? And these are things that we see a lot with people who struggle with traits like people pleasing. I guess the technical term would be codependency, which that term gets a lot of play on the internet. I like codependency. I don't hate it as much as narcissism, but I like the term codependency. But just people pleasing, really and truly chronic self-denial. What all of these things come down to as far as over-explaining ourselves or oversharing, apologizing too much is the dirty little secret. I'll give it away at the beginning of the video is that people who struggle with these things tend to be very, they have a lot of guilt and shame. They're very rooted in guilt and shame. And when they speak up for themselves, when they ask for what they need, when they try and leave a workplace or a relationship or advocate for some of their needs, they feel guilty. So therefore they need to give like more of a monologue or, oh, I'm sorry to inconvenience you, or, hey, if you have time. And what's unfortunate about that is it's really, I think some of the neurodivergent people would understand this too. It's kind of a form of masking in a way, which once again, there's another internet term that's means a whole lot of different things, but it's where we're not really and completely showing up to honor ourselves and not just what we would need, but what we would like, what would be decent, what would be good, what would be functional. Another thing I'll say, and I'll put up a screenshot to make this analogy. For those of us who know what code looks like, I'll put up a screenshot of the code of a website. Okay. You can look at that for a second while I talk. And what's really interesting is this means nothing to you, but if I show you this instead, this is my website. What's more useful for you, to stare at code? Now, there might be coding nerds who are like, oh, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. But if I wanted to really connect with you and I wanted you to like initiate a conversation about my brand, I'd show you the website. I wouldn't show you the code. So your intentions should be honorable, compassionate, and direct. Display who you really are. Display what you really want in life, in dating, in business. Don't hide. Don't expect people to decipher the source code of you, man. You're you and they're them. The people who are worth your time will never make you feel like you're a burden. And what will often happen to people who struggle with low self-esteem and issues from childhood, or what Carl Rogers, the great psychologist, would call issues of worth. A lot of the time, whether it's oversharing, people pleasing, perfectionism, workaholism, it's really rooted in feeling like you don't matter. So therefore, let's take a basic example of you feel like you're going to inconvenience someone by asking them for some of their time. You can see this too as a parent too, like if you're trying to arrange a play date or you're trying to connect with someone. Hey, I want our kid to hang out with your kid, or we're having a birthday party. And every parent's probably done that thing where you've done a birthday party and you're not sure how many people are coming and you're worried not enough are going to come. And, and so you kind of, instead of just being direct, hey, are you guys going to make it or whatever? Two ways we betray ourselves in that situation. One, we don't ask directly, because we assume people might not want to tell us the truth or we'd be a burden to them. Or if you're on the other end of the side and you like to lie and say, oh, one of my kids got a belly thing, I don't want to expose my, we're not going to come to the party, and you just didn't want to go to the party, or for any number of reasons, right? Try and work on being authentic in your speech. Try and work on, or another one would be, oh, I'd love to, but we're busy. My partner would kill me if I take on more right now. No, don't blame your partner. Don't throw your partner under the bus. Direct communication. I'm really not going to be able to make it this weekend. I'm swamped. And that's it. Another example would be giving 2 weeks notice at a job you hate. Okay. you mill it over any number of reasons: inadequate pay, poor job structure, job descriptions. You're doing too much. People are using you. Poor management structures, management turnover. So when there's management turnover, there's a lot of chaos. You've made the decision to get another job. You went, you interviewed, you got the job. You even got more money. All right. People who struggle with people pleasing will feel guilty, even if they've been treated kind of poorly. Or hey, even if you were treated great, whatever. Let's say your boss is John. Oh, John, hey, I need to talk to you. Hey, things haven't been going great, and I'm gonna have to give notice. And you've been good to me, and you guys have helped me so much, and I have so much respect for you, John, and blah blah. Or John doesn't need to know all that. You've already made the decision you want to work somewhere else. You've already taken the offer. This is how someone with self-esteem and autonomy and integrity gives notice. Now, this is assuming you don't have a super deep relationship with your boss. I'm going to do that scenario next. You walk in, you say, hey, do you have 2 minutes? This will be quick. And you say, there's no easy way to say this, man. I'm going to give you notice. I took another offer. I've got it here in writing right here. If you need me to get you another copy for HR, let me know. My last day is 2 Fridays from now. Thank you for this opportunity. Is there anything else you need to know? And their jaw might hit the floor. They might not care. They might wish you best of luck. They might be kind. They might be asked. They might ask, hey, could we counteroffer you? I mean, how much? Is there a particular reason? Is there something you're not telling me? They might want to do an exit interview. There's all sorts of things that they might want to do. And guess what? That's all about them. It's not about you. Now, let's say you have a really great relationship with your boss and you're moving on. And it might not directly be because of your boss. It could be for anything, right? You could be switching fields. You could have finished an MBA, you're going to leave this, whatever you're going to do. You're going to be a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home dad. It does not matter. You say, hey, look, this might come as a shock, but I'm actually going to give notice. I think I'm going to move on. And I just really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. You've been a wonderful boss. I've learned a lot from you. So thanks. That's how you can do that. If you are really appreciative, if you've worked for someone who's really gone to bat for you, developed you, encouraged you, used your ideas, given you credit for your ideas, given you glowing reviews, you could do that in a form of respect. A lot of people really struggle in their relationships because they can't communicate directly, because you don't feel worthy of the words coming out of your mouth. And guess what? You don't have to beg to be treated with respect. You don't have to beg for intimacy. You don't have to beg to be, treated with love and compassion. Professional world's a little bit different than like dating world or marriage world or whatever. But don't over-explain yourself. Sometimes less is more. And not only that, being overly apologetic, what you have to realize is most of the stuff, the signals, the return signals that you get back from people are about them. They're not about you. And even on a different level, if you want to take the mindfulness approach or the contemplative spirituality approach, people are a result of their experiences and the things that happen to them. And so someone might be kind of crass with you. You might be in a situation, whether it's a work thing, like you're always showing up and putting out a good performance and projects, but people don't follow through with getting you the money you need. Or you're that friend who always calls, you always set up the coffee, you always set up the next time we're going to go for drinks, you always initiate. And, they don't. Or maybe they flake a little bit too. So it's like you're just that you're either, this relationship is kind of on life support and you're the person cranking the ventilator, keeping it going. In situations like that too, you don't even have to get offended and take that personally and make it about you. It's about them. People who flake and cancel plans, people who lie, people who don't text you back, people who don't call you back, people who never initiate a fun thing. Like if it's a family thing where you're always trying to hey, why don't y'all come hang out with us? But they never initiate back. Dude, that's about them. And it's not about you. And a lot of times it doesn't even mean they're a bad person. It could mean they're busy. It could mean they're flaky. And if they're flaky, most of the time people who lack integrity, they got hurt a long time ago. It can be scary to learn to do that, to learn to stop over explaining yourself, stop saying sorry, and stop oversharing. But there's a lot about you and your relationships in your life and your financial situation that other people don't need to know, man. Less is more. So what I'm going to say is go into interactions knowing at your core that you're making good decisions or that you're asking for a need to be met, or and try and have good faith that the other person will meet you in the middle, and realize when they don't, it's not about you, man. You don't have to be servile. You don't have to bow or beg to anybody. You don't have to be freaked out about life. You deserve to be happy. And if you're not, and if you're struggling, you deserve to do the work on yourself so you don't have to feel those wounds anymore. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you'd like, you can go down in the description. There'll be some links. I'll probably link my Burnout Recovery Guide, and I'll put a link to my homepage where you can read about my coaching program. So with that, thanks for tuning in.